Yeah, exactly. All right, episode 1 or episode 0, maybe. Really, this is
Yes.
of the podcast that we're doing. No name yet. No massive. No, never done before by either of us, but something that I think we'll be able to use to, deliver all the knowledge to all the people that need it. All that
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. So for you, you work with people a lot, and a lot of different people. What is it about being able to understand somebody that's so important to you? Like just understanding the people that you're around. Why is that something that you hold at such high importance?
I mean, I think anything you do in life is people, and people make the world go around. And I think we focus so much on strategy and P&Ls. We're not focusing enough of our time on who's the person that I'm working with. What's their unique ability and what makes them tick. I've always felt that if you could get people to rally behind your vision, great things happen. So business is people, and when you think differently, I think you're opening the doors for some sort of non-alignment, some backward talking, and people just won't connect to you over time.
Why do you think that in the business world today that's kind of being lost a little bit? What's causing that? The caring about people.
Well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Okay, you have corporations right now that are running tight and lean, and they're looking at profitability. They're looking at what the stockholders' opinions are of the company, so they have to drive the stock prices. Individuals have seen their parents be loyal to their companies, work for 20 years, and then all of a sudden they're gone. So from an employee standpoint, the loyalty is not there anymore. I think if you look at professional sports as a good example, is the players played for teams for 30 years. The owners made a ton of money, and the players were loyal. That has changed. Players now want to get their piece, and I think employees want their piece. And that's the challenge right now. And the challenge is how can you build a culture where people believe in you, and if you have continuity of employment, and at least you have your key people around you, I think great things can happen. But I think there's a lot of falsehoods out there, because I think I was looking at LinkedIn the other day, a company I'm very familiar with. Their CEO said they're building great culture, but I know as a fact that they're not. That the morale is the worst I've ever seen it. So I think there's the PR motive, and then there's what's on the streets. And I've always looked at myself as a street person, looking at the people around me more important than actually, because if you build culture and you get people to believe in you, great things will happen. But if you're a very profitable company right now, and you're forgetting who's doing the hard work, you're going to find yourself a fallen soldier, like in the book Good to Great.
You've been, your whole career has been from that, the on the street angle of looking at, the work that you do, and you've done a lot of it throughout your life, but you're at a point now where you're putting that behind you in a way. How do you overcome the challenge of not dwelling on all the things that you used to do or did in the past, or things that you've accomplished? How do you focus on not dwelling on all that and bringing attention to what is happening now in your life?
Life is pretty simple. It's you give it your best shot. Whether it's in business or in your own business, you've got 12 months to have a great year. You bring on people, you hire people, you recruit people. Those are the people you'll live 12 months with. I believe in everybody that I've worked with and people down that I'm working with. But when the year is over, it's over. And if I had a great year, I'm sure as hell not going to rest on my laurels because things are changing. And if I think we're doing really well, then I think we're really not doing really well, and that we really need to relook at what we're doing. I enjoy business because I think people look to me for answers right now. Yeah, there are basic principles. I believe some of my abilities may be transferable, but I've always been of the belief that leaders are leaders and you can't make someone into a leader. They either have the talent to do it or not. But I think the real question is, what do you see in the business world what am I missing? Because what is it that excites you? What do you expect from someone when you're employed? What are the reasons why you chose somewhere? And what are you really looking for? I can tell you I don't have those answers, and I think what's missing right now, and I think where this podcast is going to go, is that I'm going to ask more of the questions as we move along in this project, because I think you have a lot more answers and a lot more to give the people that are viewing my LinkedIn site. It's so cliche, me turning on LinkedIn and seeing all these thought leaders basically repackaging the same thing. It's got to bore you. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you always say, and you've said before, once the book's written, it's out of date, right? So, like, what I've been exposed to more in the past few years, and what I'm seeing be taught and pushed to students in my generation, is that regardless of what the number is on your salary, you have to look at the whole picture when it comes to if you want to work for a company. It's more than just the money that you're going to make. It has to do with, the work-life balance in a way, and that is something that everybody, especially I feel like more now in my generation coming up, is seeking out to find that perfect balance. But it's difficult because not as many companies and organizations are putting that at the first and foremost, most important thing. They just want, to get talent and to get things, just complete projects. The appreciation and importance of culture in a company isn't something that I think is being pushed enough to, potential new employees or something like that. And you see the companies that do care about that are doing way better than the ones that aren't, and their employees are happier, and that is when you have a culture where people want to stay and be a part of the journey over the long term, not just sign up for a nice check at the end of every month,
So let's go a little bit further on that. You have the word culture, and then you have the word trust.
Yeah.
Okay? Culture could be misused. Culture could be as let's having a good time. But what is it going to take someone like yourself going to Quinnipiac University, majoring in business, getting a good understanding of what it is to do a startup. But if you were going to go the conventional way, what is it going to take you guys to, when I say you guys, obviously men and women, to trust?
I think that's something that people look past at first. I would say that obviously you want to be in a trustworthy relationship with whoever you're working with. But unfortunately, I think what happens most of the time is that you don't know whether you can trust them or not until they break your trust. So there needs to be more effort put into building a personal relationship with somebody before just instantly like being given assignments and being given work to do. You need to know, who that person is and where they're coming from, and something just about them as an individual before you start, working with them. And normally, I would say most people you can get a pretty good judge of who they are and what they're looking for, after meeting them a few times, and then you can get to work. I think that that's something that is more valuable than quick, fast-paced like sign up and start kind of things. You know what I mean? Like, and then you could think about different ways to try and prove that trust or show that trust. And that can be difficult because people have their own personal motivations as well in business dealings, and people can be, greedy or shady, but you have to either be smart enough to try and avoid getting into that situation in the first place, or it happens to you and then you gotta learn from it and not let it happen again. But I hadn't thought about bringing up trust is I'm glad you did, because that's an important aspect to remember when, looking for any type of business dealings, in life. You want to know that the, trust and I would say belief can be connected. Being, knowing that, whoever is in charge of you believes in you and knows that they put their faith in you. Having somebody put their faith in you gives you the responsibility and drive to fulfill it.
What's your theory about what is your generation, not your generation, what is your age group, what you're seeing among your fellow students? Are they thinking more toward entrepreneurism, startups, or the conventional corporate route?
Absolutely, much more startup entrepreneurial related, I would say. You have people that try and just go through the program and then just get a corporate job, but I would say the people that I am closer with and that know better, and the people that make themselves more well known, are the ones that are going down the entrepreneurial route, because with all the access to information we have, the amount of ideas that get generated, it's astounding at how many different startups are coming out just from people like in my class or in the class after me, and I would say that people are learning more and more that they just don't need a corporation to provide for them, that they can provide for themselves and do that, with a team of people that they are connected to and that all share the same passion and vision, I would say that's definitely where it's.
So it gets back to that word of trust versus mistrust.
Yeah.
25 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when I was getting out of school, everybody wanted to work at the big accounting firms, the national accounting firms. They wanted to say they had a corporate position. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be different today.
Yeah.
And that's where my theory is that captivity, whether it's captive systems where I was a part of a captive system for many years, I think those systems are personally dead because they don't provide what they did provide in the past. And I believe very strongly that the key to success right now is really understanding, getting back to the whole concept of my willingness to forget the past, is because I don't want to be viewed as this 60-something-year-old person who's telling stories, because the first, if I get in front of anybody and they say what they did in the past, it's the biggest turnoff, because they're doing nothing toward the future. And secondly, if they're not open to a dialogue with someone like yourself, because of the fact that you can do so many things that I can't do right now, and how could we take my experience, intellectual capital, with an open mindset and build trust and build build culture based on trust, not say you're building culture and not have trust. And I think that's the big misconception right now in business today.
I would agree. There's a lot of people talking the talk and not walking the walk with that, especially. A lot of, if it looks good for the public in PR, that's all that matters. People aren't investigating into, how the employees are really feeling about that. And then when you get companies doing that, saying, oh, we are all about trustworthy relationships and we are all about having, good company culture. And then when you have employees see that, they know instantly whether or not that's BS or not. And that hurts the company more than it helps them by just saying this is what we care about. You have to do, you can't. I think too many leaders are out of touch with their workforce in a way, and just stuck in that system, stuck in that. I understand. I'm sure it's comfortable to be there, but it's not the best, most efficient way of operating.
Right. I think we got enough for a start.
I think those don't stop recording after 20. So
I think
We're
that
still-
last quote
yeah, we're
I
still
had was pretty good.
yes, it was.
But I think
This is perfect for something to start with. So.
I